Although a title and a studio you may not have heard of, indie developer and now publisher VooFoo Studios have been in the game for a long time, nearly 10 years, making titles across various platforms, including working directly with Sony on Hustle Kings. Now, taking the perfectly possible self-funding route, or at least self-publishing, with its latest fun-filled release, Mantis Burn Racing. It bears more than a passing influence and memories of the semi-classic micro machines that rose to fame during the 16-bit era. With the top-down view common on those games, it actually supports an isometric view, thus actually having more in common both aesthetically and functionally with such old-school games as Atari Jaguar's Power Drive Rally and later 3D-based Micro Machine titles, but with some now-gen upgrades and enhancements, and surprising for a company whose roots stretch way back to Max Rally on the Amiga. Now, all this is powered with the studio's own proprietary engine that is not lacking many modern-day features, from a fully implemented physics engine used heavily in Pure Pool, but still being utilised here as your car slides, skids or breaks down fences as you race. Other effects also complement the engine, and look here, with a soft depth of field applied during race intros and foreground objects as you race, which also includes bokeh shapes, HDR bloom, penumbra shadows, particle-based volumetric smoke that trails cars and distorts, among other features. Well-used cube maps and reflections in the game all present a modern and yet old-school looking title. The native 1920 by 1080 image is cleaned up with a 2x MSA pass, that thanks to the engine's forward rendering configuration and abilities, along with the feature being readily available in modern hardware. Now, helping the game's response in clean display is the rock-solid 60Hz update, something that remains alongside its native 4K image with the PS4 Pro mode included with the title, and ready to rock next week when the new console launches. Now, be sure to check back then when I have my full review and in-depth analysis on this and other titles. But in the here and now, the game does not require the extra horsepower from the host machine, something not mirrored in the base car you begin your career with. Now, these tend to vary from weight, acceleration and top speed and control, with heavier cars being slower to get going but more stable under power. Now, this is helped immensely by the rock-solid frame rates and control that never falters from my tests. This is true for both single player and multiplayer alike, but the two-player split screen does have some issues holding on to that level, sometimes dropping into the high 40s at points possibly resolved with an optional 30 FPS cap being added to the menu screen. Now, I'm not convinced all of this is CPU bound, with some of the issues I've seen at least captured, as you can see on screen, does seem to stem from the GPU load and obviously the volumetric smoke effect behind the cars. There are points in the title when two-player players and all cars are on screen. There's no real issues and it holds on to the 60. Now, something that has been done for the 4-player split screen, it drops down to a 30 FPS cap. So the option is there in the engine to do this, and it may help if the option was added to the 2-player split screen. Unfortunately, I was unable to catch any online recording play for analysis due to the fact that the online is peer-to-peer. The team cannot have dedicated servers, therefore I couldn't get a connection in time for my recording and uploading this video, and the 4-player, I was on my own at the time and I didn't have anyone in the office that could play 4 players with me, just 2. But I can confirm that it is 30 FPS capped. Now, this is understandable. The extra load the engine and machine are placed under from both the CPU and GPU, holding solid here just like the single player higher rate. And even though initially the shift is obvious, you quickly acclimatise to it and enjoy the racing. Options in the game are plentiful. It has a career, time and full 8-player online multiplayer modes that should satisfy you long into the wee hours, as long as you can get a game. Now, this is all delivered with a response and intuitive control system that will see you slipping up the inside, block passing and drifting like Ken Block on steroids in no time at all. Learning the tricks of the trade during the career mode allows you to mix races, time and ghost car action to earn points, and these obviously mean prizes. Spending these on car upgrades and new vehicles opens a wealth of further choices, as they are all handled dependent on the weight, size, affecting each of the characteristics further, expanded with the vast upgrade options open to you. But the meat of the game's draw and stay is locked into its wealth of multiplayer options. These range from 2 to 4-player split screen antics on one console, bringing back vivid memories of those Micro Machine moments from school, to the much more competitive online 8-car races. Now, this all ramps up across the 2 course designs that also merge into a third and cover winding mountain segments, tarmac harbours, low-light caverns. They all test your control and vehicle choice. You have ramp sections, loose dirt, destructible shortcuts and boost options, all add to the challenge for your competitiveness and that one more go factor to beat your time, win the race, and it captures so well. Now, sound is serviceable with engine sounds, tyre screeches that are not as high level as the pixel presentation on offer. Now, music is the same, and although present in all the right places with its techno-based thumps, it quickly becomes repetitive, something you notice most during the game's menu and loading screens, but it's hardly a reason to kick off. Now, the game is fun and enjoyable, but it could do with more variation on its track and course locations, with the base 2 on offer from a dusty mountain range and a sunset coastal seaside being used in various forms and reverse layouts being quickly learned. Even a stunt control section that has you negotiating cones or obstacles using your drifting skills for rewards would have been a welcome addition, as would maybe a complete destruction mode using that physics engine even more, but these may come in the game's weekly challenges possibly. Merging the team's previous talents of pool games into this car racing and having cars knocking billiard balls around the table would actually really bring back memories of my machines, and I'd certainly pay for DLC on that. Now, although only costing around £10 or $15, this is understandable, but maybe another 1 or 2 locales would help break up the repetition of these. It will never have the vast content of much bigger games, and it certainly delivers a solid presentation and enjoyable racing that has a retro charm all of its own, but with competent art design, lighting choices and an engine behind it to give you the value for that low price. Post effects are used well, as is texture quality, which holds up well under scrutiny. Mixing this together with the game's light art and design, it does work incredibly well to give that remote control look of the game, and it feels fun to play and impressive to look at. Now, it's even more so with it being one of a growing number of titles that look to leverage early use of the extra PS4 Pro power under the hood. Yes. Now, this is not a AAA title and is exactly the kind of games I stated and expected would hit native 4K geometry renders, and at such high frame rates, it is anything but minor leagues. I shall be covering more on this title and others, including the forthcoming PS4 Pro modes, next week and beyond, so please check back and subscribe if you'd like to learn more on this and other titles. I will be back shortly with more information on PS4 Pro and other games, so please check back on this and my website. Please like and subscribe and leave all your thoughts and feedback below. You guys and girls take care, race hard, drive fast, and I'll see you on the next one.